Alright, we're back on gaming. Yeah, it's one of those days. You know, I'm still trying to figure out why people lie, or why they even try to bullshit their way through, and then when you get caught red-handed, you stick to the fucking lie. I don't understand. Why would you do this? It makes no sense to me. But let's just move forward. Move forward. We'll talk about moving forward in a bit, because that's a little interesting thing right there. But I want to start off with Scumbag Steve. That's right, Brianna Wu. Now look, we know that Brianna Wu is crazy, and Scumbag Steve does what Scumbag Steve wants because Scumbag Steve wants attention. So we don't take Brianna Wu very seriously here. We know that, right? However, what Brianna Wu had said not too long ago, actually, it's not that bad of a comment for us gamers. For developers it is. But it's not that bad of a comment as opposed to the segue that comes into, what it segues into, which is the problem. But let's get into this. Brianna Wu says, I see a generation with almost no innovation. Now, as gamers, we have said that, this generation is a little stifled right now, and, no innovation. We've seen developers say this before as well. Okay, so it's nothing new, okay? However, Scumbag Steve, you made a game not too long ago in this generation, Rev 60. Do you mind telling me what was so innovative about it? I'm just wondering. Because if you're going to sit here and say that pretty much the entire industry has lack of innovation, then clearly you would bring something innovative to the table, right? You would say, hey, this is what I brought, this is innovative, and this is what the industry really needs to look at. But didn't do that, did you? No. So you're bitching about innovation, but you didn't bring anything to the table yourself. Okay. Now, with that being said, you just pretty much alienated yourself, I would feel, on that. But the segue is what is the problem here. Because it says, I see a generation with almost no innovation, and this is why we need women in tech to bring innovation. Yeah. Okay. Let me stop that right there. All right? I'm going to stop that right there in this tracks. Because first off, we don't need women in tech, just like we don't need video games. Now, before anyone freaks out, let me explain, okay? People make video games because they have a passion for it, because they love it. Just like women in tech. The reason people take this job, women in tech take these jobs, is because they love what they do. Not because it's a need, but because it's passion. That's the difference. So for you to come out and say, this is what the industry needs, you need to shut the fuck up. Seriously. It's not what it needs. It's what people have a passion for. And when someone has a passion and they actually execute it well, they should be applauded. And if they do something bad, like you, Scumbag Steve, they should be shunned. They don't deserve any type of sales for the game. So for you to talk about innovation and breaking the walls and things of that nature, you did nothing but follow what someone has already done. You brought nothing new to the table. But women in tech. Don't give me this shit about women in tech. Women in tech have been here long ago, okay? And guess what? In the future, women in tech will still be around. They will. They don't need you to try and, piggyback off of them. Because that's what you're doing right now. And it's pretty pathetic. Speaking of piggybacking, let's talk about the FGC. The immaturity levels at this point it's mind-numbing for what I've seen. For those who know what I'm talking about, Mike Ross comes out and says that there are no friendlies in the FGC. That's a lie. But we'll get to that, okay? There's no friendlies in the FGC. Let's be clear of that. Now, for those who don't know what I'm talking about, I'll put the link in the info bar. IGN has started a eSports Weekly. And episode 2 was with the FGC and Mike Ross, And they talk about why Smash wasn't accepted in the FGC at first, okay? And Mike Ross talks about how people were upset because it doesn't have much crossover and not much technical ability, and that people were just mad that it was getting towards Evo and things of that nature, and people didn't take it seriously. Let me explain something, because once again, IGN, it took you how many years to throw these softball questions at these video game players? How many? Because we've talked about this for years. It's been addressed for years. And yet you come along and you bring out your show and you ask the same questions that have already been answered. So, you're late to the party. Number one. Number two. When Mike Ross comes out and says that people were pretty much upset because of the Smash community, because they had grown their own community, and that they weren't, inclusive with the rest of them. Boo fucking who? I will put it like this. Do I feel as though Smash is a fighting game? No. I see it more as a party game. Does that mean I'm going to get upset that Smash was at EVO? Hell no! Why would I do that? Why would you do that? You have to be a real fucking immature person to get upset because Smash was at EVO. And he goes on to say that people were upset and that people were laughing it off. And I'm thinking to myself, it's fucking Smash and it's EVO. It's not that fucking serious. Alright? Regardless if you don't like the game or if you do like the game, you still support it because it's in your community. That's why, which makes your community grow. I mean, seriously, it's almost like I'm a teacher in kindergarten. I have to write shit on the chalkboard for these people. That's what it feels like. Do you not understand this? And these are seasoned vets in the FGC saying this shit. Yes. And Mike Ross goes on to talk about, back in the day in the arcades, you'd have just 50 cents to your name, and at lunch, you would have, something would cost like 75 cents to eat. So you would choose not to eat and go play video games later. And you would beat somebody, and they would get so salty and they don't want to play again. You know what he doesn't talk about? He doesn't talk about how while you're in the arcade playing whatever game that you like, okay? There are a ton of other fighting games around the fucking arcade. And guess what? No one's talking about, I don't like that community because it doesn't play this technical, blah, blah, blah. No. Because everyone minded their own fucking business in the arcade. No one cared. All of a sudden, now we have to have all these subgenres. Oh, I don't like Smash because of the way it plays. Well, I don't like anime games because of the way it plays. Now you're actually segregating your own fucking community by acting like children. Do you understand that? But when I say this, I'm the bad guy, right? Right? I find it highly, and I say highly hypocritical, that he will come out and say, there are no friendlies in the FGC. Get the fuck out of here. Yes, there is. Alright? And he goes on to talk about how we have casual play and tournament play, and, Smash calls it friendlies. It doesn't matter what the fuck it's called. This is esports. If I turn on a soccer match right now and there's a friendly going on, you're still emulating sports, right? From one real fighter, alright, to a video game player. Grow the fuck up. There are friendlies. There are. I can go, matter of fact, I got boxing later. Guess what? I'm going to get punched in the face a lot. And guess what? I'm going to punch a lot of people in the face too. And afterwards, I'm going to say, good match, how you doing? Hope you have a safe trip home, and tell the family I said hi. Friendlies. You can still have these things. You don't have to get salty because you lost or whatever. No, it doesn't work that way in real life. Only in this FGC thing it does for some reason. And all of a sudden, it's tolerable. Maybe it's tolerable because there's an entertainment value, because you like to see people get mad and throw shit. Is that it? Because if that's what you get your jollies off of, then that's pretty pathetic. Should we talk about how people were caught not too long ago, oh, well, I really like this guy, but we're just going to act like we don't like each other just for the fucking crowd so we can create drama. We'll never forget that shit. You gotta be kidding me that we're still on this. Years later, we are still on this. It is absolutely ridiculous. Like I said, the FGC hurts itself when they do this. Because as far as I'm concerned, the FGC could be bigger than what it is already. It could be farther along. But no. It's almost like you shot yourself in the foot every time because you don't like the said game that's being featured. Really? Now, whether you feel as though other games deserve more praise or not, that's your opinion. But the fact is, regardless if you like the game or not, you still support the community. And the fact that I had to come out and say this, like I said, you come at me in your droves and you yell at me and carry on for speaking the fucking truth. But if said popular player says something, that's okay. If a company says something, and disrespects the whole fucking community, that's okay. If players start trying to con the fuck out of you at tournaments in that community, that's okay. It's amazing. Unreal. But yet, you say you got a backbone. I find it funny that the person out of all of this that are saying these things, Mike Ross, this is the same Mike Ross who did a video with Gutex, did he not? Where he was acting like he was in the alley selling drugs, did he not? And people thought it was funny. Oh, they're acting like they're selling drugs. Motherfucker, I'll put you down the way and put you on the corner on a spot. And as soon as somebody say, what you holding, if you answer wrong, that's your ass. Tell me then, is it funny? The fact is, people, it is time for these communities to grow up. And I mean that in the best. Like I said, you hurt yourselves this way. You do. Every time I see somebody rage quit, and I don't mean rage quit as I'm just quitting, no. I'm talking about you got to just go off the fucking handle and send hate mail or send... Nah, stop that shit. That's dumb as fuck. What type of person are you? Oh, it's the internet. I don't give a fuck, it's the internet. Like I said, the internet isn't... Look, the internet doesn't give you a free pass, like I said before, to act like a fucking idiot. But yet you want to be respected, right? Like I said, if esports wants to go the route of sports, there are a lot of loopholes you have to jump through. Would you just not too long ago, we just saw commentators, like people were bagging on commentators and they're like, well, no one looks at the quality of the commentators' work and things of that nature. We've talked about that before too, have we not? Alright. Like I said, if somebody acts up in sports, they're going to get fined, they'll be suspended, things of that nature. This shit doesn't happen to gamers. This shit doesn't happen to commentators, does it? Like I said, if you want to be taken seriously and you take this route, things got to change. Because nobody is going to put your asses on TV, especially fucking ESPN or TBS or whatever, when you're having certain things said on your shirt. Or you're speaking, if you're saying a lot of vulgar things. Because they can't air that on TV. Because they're family network stations. But y'all don't want to hear that, right? You think Disney just going to let that slide, huh? Okay. Alright. I want to move on. I want to talk about more fighting games. I'm just... Them Fightin Herds crowdfunding meets 436k goal. I want to say congratulations. For those who don't know, that was originally the My Little Pony fighting game that was supposed to come out, but due to copyright, it got shut down, so they had to change the name and all that type of stuff. But it did meet its crowdfunding goal, so for those who were looking forward to it, I will say, get ready. Also, Persona 4 Arena Ultimax console update is being considered, just to let you know. Now I want to move forward. We're going to talk about moving forward right now, all right? Because of EA and their bullshit. And Peter Moore, you people know, I've talked about Peter Moore time and time again, how much of a liar he is, how much he's going to tell you gamers that have been playing games longer than he's been in this industry. He's going to tell you what you like and what you don't like, right? Okay. Peter Moore criticizes remakes. That's right. Now, we've talked about remakes before. I've said, that there's a lot of remakes coming out because, as we know, these new consoles, you push them so damn fast that you don't have original IPs that made for them yet, and you can't make these games fast enough, so you need to remaster old games on last-gen consoles to bring over to expand your library. We've talked about this before. Peter Moore says that I don't think it's ever been in our culture, talking about, remakes for EA. And they talks about how there won't be that, remakes for EA. So you want to talk about culture, huh? And he says that, they want to move forward, not backwards. That's what he says. Move forward, not backwards, okay? Last I checked, your culture is about swallowing up competition. You buy out companies that are direct competitors at times, and you put them under your umbrella. Matter of fact, you buy out licenses like Madden so that people can't directly compete with you. Your culture is bullshit. So Peter Moore, before you get on that high horse, all right, because there's more to this, yes. He says, remakes happen because you run out of ideas. Says the company that hasn't come out with an original IP for quite a while. Or, I shouldn't say original IP, I should say, I guess original franchise in quite a while. You run out of ideas. I love that he said this, due to the fact that this is the next news. EA is pushing for its own GTA, Batman, or Assassin's Creed. I love this part. Because for, a company or a person like Peter Moore that says, they only do it because they run out of ideas, you are following GTA, Batman, or Assassin's Creed because you need that franchise to milk the fuck out of gamers. That's what you're looking for. Because your Battlefield series, that didn't work, did it? No, it really didn't. You still got people, but not as much. You tried it with Medal of Honor, and it failed because you wanted to compete with Call of Duty. So you tried to milk it. You tried to make it annually. Matter of fact, you already have stuff that's annually. You got your Battlefield that's annually. You got your FIFA that's annually. You got your Madden that's annually. But now you're looking for a different genre to milk annually. EA. Does it? You know what? It's way too easy. It's way too fucking easy for this. But like I said, hypocrisy. You want to push your bullshit, and then when you get caught, you still stick with it. You still want to fucking stick with it. But there's more news. Star Wars. That's right. Battlefront won't support private matches at launch, and they're still being considered later down the line. They're not sure. Okay? Also, 10-year-old Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic has been updated again. That's right. Now, of course, this is because the movie's coming out soon. And but still, a 10-year-old game gets an update. And I want you to remember that. Because the next bit of news. GTA 5. Latest update has been revealed, but will skip last-gen consoles. So we can get a 10-year-old game can get an update, but Rockstar's going to skip last-gen consoles. After, these companies promised that they wouldn't just abandon the 360 and the PS3. But there's more. There's more. Yep. Duke Nukem 3D is getting a Sega Genesis release this year. So the Sega Genesis, after all these years, can get a release in 2015. But the PS3 and Xbox 360 can't get an update. Wow. People, if you cannot see what the fuck is going on, how they're just trying to rush you, shoehorn you into this new generation without giving you the proper, and I say proper tools to support them, then that's on you, man. That's on you. Seriously. You've got to be kidding me. Like I said, it's already bad enough that Sony doesn't let you transfer your digital downloads from your previous console, to your current console if you got the PS4, if you got it. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. I think they should have tied that together. Nintendo took a lot of flack for that from the Wii to the Wii U. And they had to come up with a system for it, didn't they? I don't understand why certain companies get a free pass and others don't. Is it really the fanboy war still? Is it the media not playing favorites? Or should I say are playing favorites and they're not playing fair? I just don't understand where it's okay to jump on one company, but not okay to jump on another. Because last I checked, we're still gamers. We will go where games are. It does not matter what company produces them. But for some reason, people forget that. Because they get caught up in all this bullshit when it comes to testing your fandom. I didn't know your fandom needed to be tested to play a fucking video game. I'm just saying. It makes no sense. Anyways, I want to move on a little bit more. Yakuza 5 to be released in mid-November. So Sega fans, there you have it. I think it's time to take a break. Because as far as I'm concerned, I'm pretty disgusted at the things I've seen. And you talk about lack of innovation, things of that nature. Sometimes people forget that you don't need that much innovation. You don't have to reinvent the wheel to be noticed. Sometimes you need to just take from an old game and just give people what they want. And for those who know what I'm talking about, for us Shadow of the Colossus fans, that's right, a new game is on the rise. And people are already calling it its predecessor or spiritual successor. And for those who know what I'm talking about, let's talk about Prey for the Gods. looks good so far. We'll see where it goes, but I'm really hoping that it does have a multiplayer aspect to it. I say this due to the fact that for those who do not remember, I believe the original Shadow Colossus was supposed to have multiplayer. I believe on the Shadow Colossus, the collection, the one that came out for the PS3, in the Ico collection, there's behind the scenes stuff that they have actual video of showing multiplayer of Shadow Colossus, and multiple people will be on horses taking down one Colossi, or whatever you want to call it, or Colossi. So I'm really hoping that they take this game and flesh it out more than what it is. I believe I still have those. I do have the video of that recorded, the multiplayer. I don't know if anybody would be interested in watching that. If so, then I'll upload it. It's not a big deal. But like I said, you already know I did my run on Shadow Colossus. But I do want to move forward. I want to talk about Supermassive. That's right. For those who know Until Dawn, Supermassive comments on Sony's lack of marketing push for Until Dawn. That's right. Now, there's a problem with this. And we're going to talk about this right now because I really want to talk about PlayStation lifestyle. Leading up to the release, what were your thoughts on Sony's marketing for the game? A question that was asked by Shuei Yoshida as well. Did Supermassive feel as though they wasn't being marketed as heavily as other first-party exclusives? That's what the question is. Now, Yoshida says this, and I'm going to call bullshit on this, okay? If a game is quite different to what's come before, it must be difficult to know exactly what to do, who to aim the marketing at, and what message should be. Even if the strength of the push wasn't as big as we have liked, there was a huge amount of creativity in a way that Sony promoted Until Dawn. Now, I want to talk about this for a minute, because you have to understand, it could have been pushed more. I say this because this is something that's not new. Nothing's become before with this. Remember, Heavy Rain had a huge problem with being promoted because they didn't know how to promote it. David Cage himself came out and said that they didn't know how to promote it. It's different when it's an action game because when you promote things with your PR firm, you can just show explosions and guns and high-octane action, and that's what attracts those people. But when you have something that has narrative and you don't know how to sell it, then it's a completely different story. We saw the same thing with Beyond Two Souls, did we not? They tried a bit harder, but not as hard. Until Dawn, as we know, is survival horror. I do not see where it was a problem, where you had a problem with supporting it. And I mean promoting it. It's survival horror. If anything, you treat it like you do any other of your fucking games, because as far as I'm concerned, and I'll put it like this, did anyone see the new Star Wars Battlefront commercial? I just want to know. Because the guy's in his office. First they show him like flashbacks of him being a kid. The guy's in his office, and his friend pulls up, like up in the air. He's in the plane, and he jumps out. He jumps out the window and lands on the plane. And all of a sudden, he's fighting in the battle, and there's all these explosions and everything's going on. And what's the one thing that you see at the bottom of the screen as this is going on? Because all this is, all this war and shooting is going on. It says not actual game footage. That's what it says at the bottom. You did this with a lot of games. You did this with Killzone. I remember when Killzone came out. You just showed, the bullet and everything, and it was like not actual game footage. You do this all the time, where you show not actual game footage, and a lot of companies do this, but Sony, you've done this, you're guilty of this as well. And you're going to tell me that you had a problem selling a narrative with game footage, where you could have told some of the story. So you're going to tell me, for companies who want to be like Hollywood, you didn't take a Hollywood approach and show it like a movie trailer? You could have did that? Okay. Speaking of survival horror, movie trailers. Yeah, I'm just going to move on. Okay. Resident Evil animated film is coming in 2017, which I look forward to because the other animated films were pretty good. And you know what? Those animated films are 10 times better than the live action films. Let's move on. Batman Arkham Knight. That's right. Should have maybe talked about Batman a little bit earlier, I guess, because I mentioned it earlier. But Batman Arkham Knight to get Batman vs. Superman DLC, and there will be a complete rundown of DLC for the year. People, just wait for the Game of the Year edition. Just wait. It should come next year. It should. Because this is actually... They're going to keep doing this until that movie comes out because they don't want to miss the window. They don't. So I'm just letting you know now. Just wait. If you don't have the game yet, just wait. Just wait. Please wait. If you have the game already, I don't know what to tell you. I would say pick and choose your DLC as you go along if you're planning on getting it. But Batman vs. Superman DLC is coming, and you know people are going to be so hyped to see Superman in their game. And you know if it sells well, because there's already been talks of it, there may be a Superman game in the wait, in the wings, I should say. But let's keep going. Assassin's Creed. That's right. Assassin's Creed Syndicate has not one, but 2 day 1 patches. Patch for the patch for the patch for the patch. Okay? Day 1. Halo, file size, and day 1 update revealed. Day 1. Day 1. You know, I think this is the point where I can really start getting to, what the fuck were you thinking? I think I can get in that, because it seems like a lot of people like that last time. Konami. I know. A lot of people, fuck Konami. I know, fuck Konami. Yeah, it's warranted. I understand. As we know, Kojima finally departed ways with Konami, and he does have I believe, a non-complete clause till, is it October 9th? Was it October 9th, December? I don't know. Anyways, was it a non-complete, compete clause in the distant future, not too far. But that's not the problem here we have, with this split up between Kojima and Konami. As we know, Kojima is gone. However, Konami, they haven't come to reality yet. Konami says that Kojima is still an employee, and he's actually just on a vacation. That's right. They say that he has not left Konami at all. This is what Konami is saying. All right? You can't... Look. Konami, you've been caught. We know that Kojima's gone. You've gone crazy. Matter of fact, was it writers of different media outlets have actually posted pictures of Kojima's goodbye party. You still want to stick to the lie, even though there's photo evidence, even though Kojima himself has said he's gone. You still want to say he's an employee and he's only on vacation. You still want to stick to... Okay. Let's get into some better news. All right, please. Let's just do that. The Witcher 3 punishes cheaters with taxes. I find this highly hilarious. For those who don't know, if you have cheated in the game, the Taxman cometh. Literally, Taxman cometh. He'll come to your door and ask you to pay for your wrongdoings that you've cheated in the game. The game already knows that you cheated. Okay, it's great to see that they would take this type of, implement this into their game. And the thing is, you can lie to the Taxman. That's right, you can lie and say, I did nothing wrong. And they reward you. You have a chance to tell the truth or to lie out of your teeth. And you get rewarded for it. I think CD Projekt has done something great here. It seems like they're always ahead of the curve. Since we're talking about innovation, they always found a great and entertaining way to punish cheaters. They have. It's not just, we're just going to outright ban these people. They don't deserve to play, after buying our product. No, they actually integrate it into their stories. I, for one, love it. I think it's hilarious. The fact that you can cheat and have someone, excuse me, come knocking on your damn door. Yeah, we're going to need you to pay for that. To me, that's hilarious. I feel as though that's too good. That just makes the experience even better. You know what I mean? So, thumbs up for CG Projekt for doing that. I think that's great. Also, in more news, Square Enix tries to be cool and embrace a fan conversion of the original Deus Ex. Now, Square, you are not fooling anybody here. We know that you're only cool with this because you want the fans on your side. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, Square Enix considers crowdfunding to localize games to the West. Yeah, you're going to need that support. And that's what it is. If you bag on people when it comes to, like I said, their fan conversions, do you think those fans are going to support your crowdfunding so that you can bring these games over to the West? No. You'd be going against the community. You'd be hurting yourself. So of course you're going to be okay with this. Now here's the thing. Square, you have money. You are a big company. And I understand that you had some financial problems a couple times now. I believe you're in your 3rd trimester when it comes to financial problems. You got to think back in the day when Final Fantasy was made, they actually thought that the original Final Fantasy was going to be their Final Fantasy. Then you took a big hit after Final Fantasy The Spirits Within. Then you took a big hit again and you needed Sony to help you with, with Final Fantasy, that's coming out. So, or should I say, sorry, I don't know. I'm not keeping up with that one as far as I'm concerned. I'm so over Square at this point because you, like I said before, you have so many great IPs and you're still focused on Final Fantasy. But now you want gamers to spend money to have things localized. That's what, because that's, as a company, that's what you would do yourself. And if they didn't buy it, then you took the hit. Now you want gamers to fit the bill so that you don't take any hit on it. You've got to be kidding me that you're turning to the community and saying, hey, look, we haven't given you anything but Final Fantasy for a very long time, even though fans have cried desperately for you to bring out other stuff that you have, and you ignored them for time. I mean, hell, look how long it took to get, back Kingdom Hearts. But now you want them to come to the aid of you and save you. You can localize it your damn self. That's how I feel. I mean, because seriously, for anyone who has seen Square Enix prices when it comes to, if you look on the iOS, and you saw the big fight over that. Their JRPGs, really good stuff on the iOS. Problem is, they cost an arm and a fucking leg. And, of course, they microtransaction you to death. So, yeah. Not trying to hear that. Square, you have money. And as far as I'm concerned, you can help yourself and stop worrying about gamers, trying to get gamers, It almost feels like that's all we see these days. You remember when kickstarting, I said this years ago, when kickstarting and crowdfunding, what did I say? This seems like a very slippery slope to be abused. And now we're seeing big-time companies come out and say, support us. Even though, if you paid attention, because you have these statistics of games, of your, units sold, because you don't look at us as gamers or people, you know what your market is. You have all these charts and shit that tell you, and you're going to tell me you still can't figure out what to come out with? What to sell? What to localize? And this is why gaming has been such shit for a while now. And I hate to say that, because it's true. Everyone's going to get upset at something. I'm sure everyone's going to get upset at something I said today, but it doesn't matter. The fact is, this is something that you as a consumer should be aware of. Understand when they're using you. Not saying, hey, look, we need your help, but hey, we don't want to foot the bill for this, so if you want this, you're going to have to. That's crazy. That's crazy. It's one thing to make the game, publish the game, and then say, hey, out to the public, and, that's it. That's one thing. But to say, no, we're going to crowdfund, even though we're a multi-million-dollar company, and you still want people to, come out, localize the games yourselves, promote it the right way. That's all you have to do, is promote it the right way, and it will sell. When's the last time you've seen a Square Enix game, on the TV? When's the last time you saw one? When it comes to commercials. Localized and stuff. You don't see it. Unless it's Final Fantasy. And for some reason they got this notion that only Final Fantasy sells. And I think that's a problem. Every once in a while you'll see something like Dragon Quest. Every once in a while. But you've got to be kidding me, Square, that... No. People, I just hope that people are waking up, and it seems like for the news that I've seen today, they still aren't waking up. They aren't. And if you are waking up, you're years late to the party. This is something that's been covered time and time again. It's just sad that gamers are still falling for these, dare I say, shenanigans. Because you see it all the damn time. Do you not see the patterns? I'm not saying you should just, fuck this company, whatever. What I'm saying is, get the most for your money. Your dollar. Your hard-earned dollar that you work for. Get the most for it. If they don't want to work hard for it, then why do they deserve what you get? You worked hard for it. I don't know, man. I just think the community needs to really smarten up. And I'm just saying it, not just towards, seeing what the companies are doing, but towards each other as well. There's no way you can tell me I'm going to be mad at a game because because it made the fucking Evo. Get the fuck... Unreal, man. It's a game. It's a game. If you get mad over that, if that's what you get mad over, you got it made. You do. Because there are so many things to be mad at. And then we're going to see people who also defend it as well. So, I guess it is what it is. Anyways, I'm done, man. Seriously, I'm done. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. I'm out.